Mm.
All right, just do some introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last day of the Change Catalyst. Hello, everyone. Of the Change Catalyst AI webinar for April. We have Engineer Lucky here. He's going to be teaching us how to leverage AI for marketing. That's something that everybody will be looking forward to and will immediately benefit from. Remember that a lot of our focus is for us to be able to take everything we learn from here and immediately implement from in our day-to-day as we run our businesses and start seeing results quickly. So I'm going to hand over to Engineer Lucky right now so that he, takes it away. And thank you so much for joining us here today, Engineer Lucky.
Thank you very much for having me. And good evening, everyone. It's 6:09 here in Nigeria. So good evening. I don't know where you're watching from around the world. It's nice being on the platform. It's nice sharing, leveraging on AI and how we can move our businesses forward. All right. So going to the slide, I'm sharing my slide, my material here so that we can have a look at what we'll be talking about, a visual representation, if you may, of what we'll be talking about. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. Oh, just a minute. Okay. So we'll be talking on leveraging AI and market leads and lead generation automation. Okay. We'll be making this a bit short. I'm not going to be taking a lot of our time. We'll be diving straight into it with a little demonstrations. Forgive me, we won't be doing a lot of practicals. I don't think we'll be doing any practicals actually, but we'll be discussing a lot of use cases where some of the tools that we'll be discussing can help your businesses thrive and can help your businesses grow. All right, so a little bit about me and why you should listen. Okay, my name is Engineer Lucky Chizorum. I'm the CEO and the founder of Starnet Innovations Limited. That's a company here in Nigeria. Okay, we're doing a lot of things to create applications for businesses to scale. We have worked with both private and public organizations, and we've leveraged AI in most of our businesses. As a matter of fact, most of our applications have some form of AI integration in them, including every department here in Starnet, the sales, the marketing, everything here. We do have AI, some form of AI integrated into them to be able to either in a corrective measure or in a marketing measure, or to close sales, or to follow up customers, or to follow up leads, or to close in a lot of things. All right, and we will be just going into just the tip of the iceberg into what we use AI for with the time that we have, and then much later hopefully we'll be diving deep into it. All right, so normally AI is being thrown around now, like everywhere you look. If you open up the internet, you're hearing AI this, AI that. And a lot of people don't really understand what the whole AI hype is like. It's almost beginning to sound like the .com bubble where everything has to be .com, and it's getting confusing. There's been a lot of cloud around the whole AI force. Like some people are even just thinking AI to just be ChatGPT, where you can just go type in something and then it gives you an answer. They use AI like a chat engine, like a search engine, like a chatbot. Now AI transverses that, it goes a lot higher than that. Now, to be able to understand AI and how it's going to help us, let us first understand the problems that we face as businesses, and then we'll know how AI is going to come into play. Now, the number one on my slide here is the lost traffic. Okay, now the lost traffic is low conversions on, for example, you're into businesses, probably you're into sales and you have, we've been doing some classes on digital product creations, and you have some products that you want to push out into the real world, right? And you want to put it on some social media platforms like Facebook and the rest of them, Twitter, and you want to leverage on those traffic that come from those networks. Now you put in your products there, and then it's very discouraging most times when you come back and you're seeing just 2 views, 3 views, 5 views. And with the few views that you haven't actually had any conversion. All right. So number one issue that we face in the space of having a business, especially an online business, is lost traffic. Number two is missed leads, where we've had even here at StarNet in the company where people chat us up, and early days of a company where we put up ads, sometimes even paid ads, and people chat up like, okay, how much is this? Okay, I want to know more about this. How does this work? And because probably it was during off business hours, probably it's weekends, we miss those leads. And by the time you come back, those people have probably moved on to your competitors to those people that they feel they are more serious, to go buy from them or to go get whatever solution they are looking for from them. Okay, so with leveraging AI is going to help us curb that. I'll be getting into how we can use AI to solve the problem of missed leads. Also, slow response. Slow response still in the form of almost like missed leads, but then this is one that you're around, not the one that you wait for like 24 hours before you give a reply. This you probably just stepped out, and then on your WhatsApp it says you're away, and you're typing, like, the WhatsApp automatic message, you just send hello, I blah 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 blah, and then WhatsApp says, okay, this user is away, blah blah blah, he's going to come back, and something happens. And believe me, it's like it's a jet age. People just move on quickly. They don't have that patience to wait for you. Brand loyalty is something that you have to earn. All right. So it happens that then you just get to see a message that came in like an hour, 2 hours ago, and you want to reply it, and the person is no longer responding to what your message is rather. And it happened that the person has actually moved on to your competitor, or probably just like dished it and felt like you're not serious. Now, the next one we're looking at is manual follow-ups. And of course, the last one is going to be wasted ad spends. Now, let's look at how AI is going to help us curb into it. And we're not just looking at the whole concept of how AI is going to help us curb into it. We're also be looking at some AI tools and some AI strategies, all right, that we can implement into these businesses. All right. And in the case of this, we'll be using a content creator, an online content creator. We're going to assume the person sells a digital product like a book. Okay. So if you have some other forms of businesses that you're into, you can still multiply the same strategy, the same system, still implement it into whatever you're doing, and it will work. But for this case, for this class, we're going to be taking into consideration just a digital content creator that just works on books and wants to push it out into the real world. Now, the next one that we have on our slide is the AI marketing automation. Now, we talked about the problems initially, where we talked about the lost traffic and the missed leads and the slow responses and the manual follow-ups and the wasted ad spends. Now, it's going to be we're going to be using a couple number of tools that I'll be listing here to be able to tackle some of this. Now, in the real world, you have a lot of tools that you can use, implement into your business to handle this. For example, you've probably come across some TikTok videos or some Facebook videos where whoever created the video talked about something and be like, okay, send me a DM or comment this particular word and I'll send it to you. A practical example is what we did recently here at StarNet. Now, they recently concluded JAMB examinations. We gave out some free tips and some freebies, some airtime and some things, to materials to help the students, JAMBites, pass their JAMB and Excel. And so most of those things are worth thousands and thousands. But then most times we just comment, we just ask a question, a random question, and we'll tell them, okay, comment your answer or comment this word or just some form of a comment, and then we'll send you how to join in the competition or in the challenge. Right? Probably it could be, okay, 2 + 2 is what? Just comment the answer below, and then if you're correct, we'll choose from the 5 random answers and they will send whatever the offer is to them. And then they comment these answers. And what we're trying to do is we're collecting leads, we're fetching them, we're just gathering what the people, the students, as if you may, or maybe the parents, the users are going to be commenting those words. All right. The system is going to be automatically saving their details on our system and then automatically sending them a DM to steps on how to join the challenge, on how to participate in the challenge. So it's not something that somebody needs to be there to manually do yourself. No, it's something you just automate. All right. And for this, we have a couple number of AIs that we use for this. Now, there is Zapier. You probably have heard of it, Zapier. There is ManyChat. There is Make.com. And there is Wasender API actually. There is N8N. All right. And there are a lot of other ones, but these few ones that I just mentioned now are the very popular ones. But then because there are many, we'll just be cutting down to just one particular one that we use that is very easy and it's mostly free. They have a lot of features that I feel you can integrate into your business and they are free. You don't have to pay much for it. And that's going to be ManyChats. All right, so ManyChats is very user-friendly and they integrate across a lot of social media platforms. Like they integrate into TikTok, they integrate into Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the rest of them. That's X. So all you need to do is to be able to just go to manychats.com, sign up with them and set up your account. You can log in using Facebook or whatever. And then you start using most of those features that they have, like the DM to comment to DM or whatever strategy that they have on their platform. They actually have a lot of strategies that I can just go through and implement. And they're very easy to just like 3 clicks, 4 clicks, and you set these things up. So to the next slide, we're going to be talking the system, how the flow works, how these things work. Now, the first step into this is going to be to capture your leads. So let's say I'm a content creator. I write books, right? And I post it online and I give a summary of the book. Okay, and I'm trying to build a news list or an email list where I have everybody. I can just message everybody that is interested in this particular book because remember, I don't want to start I'm a small business. I don't have that much capital to be able to pay for a lot of adverts to push it to a lot of people, right? So I just give it out and I say, just give a brief review on this and then you get a free gift or some form of creativity that you can come up with. And that is to capture the lead. Now the person goes up and posts it on social media and the users read it and they make their comments. In the same way, the users, just like integrating this into ManyChats, the users get to know what the content is all about, not just about what the content is all about. They also get to participate in whatever you're creating, whatever you're putting out there. Okay, so that's to capture the lead. First, you have to get them to take action. That's the first thing, to get them to take action. So either through a comment or through a like or through a share. All right. So here on number 1 slide, it says that it automatically collects the information on every interaction, whether it's a like, anybody that just interact with that particular post or that content. All right. It collects the person's information and then it saves it on your database or your system. Now, the next thing is it automatically responds to that interaction. Probably the keyword there is comments. What can I use now? Free. Okay, comment free, and I'll send it free for you. And then the person comments free. All right. The ManyChat, for example, has a setup where it automatically sends you on a public chat because you commented publicly. It tells you publicly, okay, check your DM. This particular material has been sent to your DM, such that every other person that comes up and sees that particular post knows that this thing works because XYZ number of people have commented and then they've gotten the DM. So probably I should just keep commenting because the thing is that if you send a comment and then the system just sends you a DM without a public broadcast or public reply that this has gone to your DM, sometimes it's because you're trying to build trust. All right, so and you erode that sometimes, most times actually. So what you have to do is to set it up in a way that you send a public reply to build trust, and then you still send a material out to the person's DM. All right, so that's the number 2 that we say we respond instantly. All right. Now, the next one is to be able to qualify your prospects, where you know the people that are interested in what, probably through a poll or through any other follow-up system that you want to build. Now, the next one is now to nurture your conversion. Okay. Now, the 2 and the 3 are almost the same thing. Now, where you have to know what they are interested in. Now, some people just want to get what you're selling, and some people want to not just get what you're selling, but to follow you for any other new thing that you'll be rolling out. All right. So that's when you have to separate the 2 things, and then you know who you'll be reselling to and who you're going to, and how you're going to be reacting to the people that are following up your material. So moving on to the next slide, we have a flow in ManyChat, like a much more practical flow in ManyChat. Now, the website for ManyChat, of course, is manychat.com. All right. So number 1 is a user action where, like I explained before, where a user sends a DM. For example, you're writing up something or you're giving out something, you're doing a giveaway, but you want to grow a particular brand and you ask them to comment. Now, it's a rule of thumb for Facebook that anybody that interacts with your posts, okay, you now have the right to save the person's contact or to reply to the person. It's no longer considered spam. It's spam if you're the first to reach out to the person. But if the person first reaches out to you, then you're now safe to broadcast, to sell to follow up, or to DM or whatever you want to now continue with the person. So the user action, the comment, the keyword, or the DM, all right, fetches the person and triggers that ManyChat detects this particular action that has been taken. The bot replies automatically, meaning that, like I said earlier on, it sends a public reply. This material has been sent to your DM. Please check your DM for a link or the material or whatever. And then if it's going to be like a form, some people actually, instead of just sending the material directly, of course, which somehow, even though you can still resell to the person, but you want, what if tomorrow Facebook bans the account or something happens to the account, right? So most times you want to get that particular data and you want to keep it off Facebook or off that particular platform, probably TikTok or whatever platform you use to get it. So you can, another thing you can do is probably to get a Google form, send the person a Google form.
Maybe it is network. Are you able to connect with him or contact him? Okay. Welcome back, Engineer Lucky. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so Let me share my screen again.
Okay.
Hopefully. All right, so thank you very much. Sorry about the disruption there. My internet went off. So back to what we were talking about, the flow. So back to the original flow that we're following, where I'm selling a book. I'm a digital content creator and I wrote a book I want to distribute to a lot of people. So I give a particular content and a particular keyword. You comment a keyword like it stated here. The system captures your keyword, right? Now, because it's a keyword I've already programmed into the system, like comment free, and then you commented free, it triggers ManyChat to reply to you automatically and to be able to get capture your information. Now, I was trying to say in cases where probably you don't know what's going to happen to that particular account. So if you keep keeping that information on that account, if anything happens to the account, you lose the leads that you've already captured. So what you may do is be able to develop a Google Forms account, design a Google Form or any form of data capturing system where you can send to your prospects and the person fills it up. So say for example, back to the book example, the person is interested in this book. Probably it's not even being published, but the person wants to join the wait list, right? I don't want to risk it by keeping the person on my TikTok or my Facebook accounts. So I may be able to send a form where the person clicks on and fills in his or her detail, provide an email or a phone number. Now, if you listen closely, during when we're starting, we talked about WhatsApp. Now, WhatsApp is more like a bulk WhatsApp messaging service where if you collect most of these leads, the phone numbers, you can just broadcast to all of them. You don't actually need to you won't be failing. They have this policy where they make it very difficult for you to get into Facebook's, that's Meta's bad side. So they delays the message switchings and a lot of other things. So if I want to go through that route, I don't want to continue with ManyChat. I just want to use them as a data capture operation, and I move their contacts to a Google form or whatever data capture system where I get their phone number. All right. Now, using WhatsApp, I'll be able to send them a message on WhatsApp automatically. And they have their free session where it's limited, then the paid session where I think it's $6 in a month, and you can use it to send for as many messages as possible. All right. And one beautiful thing about that, I actually like that system setup because if I'm sending to you on WhatsApp, then I have the freedom to send you not just links, but videos and pictures. And I can follow you back up as many times as I want, probably until you block. I can also say, if you're no longer interested in this, please reply unsubscribe or reply not interested. And if you reply, the system automatically just removes you from the broadcast list and continues with the other people that are there. So it saves you a whole lot of time. It saves you a whole lot of energy. Remember, one thing about AI is setting up a system. Like I think forgotten who said, I say system is an abbreviation for saving yourself. That's SYS, saving yourself time, energy, and money. All right. So what you want to do is to be able to create something that achieves that all of that objective, where you don't have to be the one that goes back there to continue to engage with the users, continue to be the one to manually send replies, continue to be the one manually sends DMs. No, what we're trying to do is to be able to learn the systems, set them up once, and then watch them do what we actually program them to do, while we just watch them and monitor them, supervise what they are doing, and probably make inputs and corrections where needed. All right. So um, like I said earlier in this chat, in this session, we're just doing ManyChat because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of automation tools, which I mentioned. In case you're still interested in them, you want to go check them out, probably on Facebook, on YouTube. There are a lot of courses there. Zapier is one good one. Make.com is also a very easy to learn one, very straightforward. The integrations are very fine and very, very fast. The speedy connection to your social media accounts like your Facebook, your Instagram, And they also have this thing where you can actually connect them to a chat bot. All right. For example, you can there's this thing that you can do, schedule a message instead of just having a message scheduled, give the AI a prompt. For example, I normally like using Claude, even though I think ChatGPT is okay. So you can connect Claude to your ManyChat automation, and every morning it probably just goes through what's currently happening on, for example, X, and be able to generate a post about what you're doing that suits that. Now, let me give you a practical example. Say, for example, what's currently trending is the World Cup or Easter. We just finished Easter. And many chats using make.com, you can be able to give Claude a prompt to write you a 160, I think Twitter is 160, that's X, I still call it Twitter, forgive me. Twitter is 160 characters. I think I would call it that for a while. 160 characters, right? And you can tell me, Claude, okay, write a 160 character word or greeting or wish or Easter advice about what I'm doing. Okay, probably I'm into sales of this particular product I'm selling. And then use any current trending hashtag for this post. And it's not something you have to do and then it keeps sending the same thing because it's an AI, right? And one thing about Make is they give you 1,000, I think 1,000 automations for free. 10,000, is that 1,000 or 10,000? I can't remember now, for free. Okay, so you just set it up and then you watch it do the same thing. So if you're an SME, I believe 1,000 is good enough. When I started using Make, I think I hardly exhausted 1,000 until we started adding other brands. Then we exhausted 1,000 and we started paying for their premium. So I think for Make and it's very easy to learn. There are a lot of courses there on YouTube that you can just get your hands on and then learn it. So you can just tell Claude, write me this particular type of message, find this current number of trending hashtags and just post them on X. And then you now use Make to now do a follow-up, right? Where, for example, if it's an Easter, just say Happy Easter, and then you get some kind of a freebie, all right? And anybody that now comments a Happy Easter on that post that's Claude generated and posted through make.com, ManyChat follows up by just sending the person a DM, probably a link to a data capture system where you get the person's information, where you get the person's phone number, and then you follow up using WhatsApp to send a broadcast to that particular phone number. And you continue to market to the person, whatever it is that you're selling, whatever content it is that you're creating, until probably you close that sale. Another good thing about it is ManyChat also has this way of rewarding your followers, whereby you make a content and if you're trying to grow your followership on social media, you make a content and then you're like, okay, if anybody follows me, to be able to get XYZ that I'm offering for free, click a follow. And then once that particular action is triggered, just like on our slide here, once that particular action is triggered, the ManyChat is triggered, and then it continues whatever else it is that you programmed, that you set it up to do. Now, because of time, let's just run down gradually to what we have so that we'll be able to cover up as much as possible. Now, okay, we've talked about it, whereby the comments to DM funnel, whereby a user makes a comment, right? And then you send an information. Now, the practical example here is, hey, I saw your comment, blah, 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 is this interested in? Now, this is for people that are probably selling digital courses, where you probably did a video on TikTok and you talked about a lot of things that you're offering, and then you already set it up probably on ManyChat. And on your video, you said comment this particular word, and then to enroll on the free course. For example, a digital marketing course, and it's worth 50,000 naira. But for early birds, just comment this particular word and then you get a discount. I'm trying to just give a practical idea of how some of these things work. So now this user comments a digital marketing. That's the course that he or she wants to learn. Remember, this thing is automated. There's no human interference into this. It's strictly automated. So the system just gives out the information. The user comments the word or the whatever reply it is, and then the bot follows up. Great, what's your name? And then Adeze, and then follows up like that until this person's information is captured and stored on the system. So that is one use case of ManyChats. Slide 11 just tries to like explain the whole technicality that goes beyond. Oh wow, wait, I think I skipped a lot of things. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. I think I skipped some things. So why this works? Now people prefer DMs to just general messages. Number one, it feels the response is almost immediate, especially when it's set up the right way. The response is almost immediate. And then secondly, it's more personalized. For example, using ManyChats, you'll be able to get the person's name, not just the hey, random user, I've sent you the message. No. For example, if I'm doing a course and it's like a training course, and you comment the course that you in that list of courses, the particular course that you want to learn, ManyChat will be able to like get your name, okay, how it's set up. You get something like, hello, Richard, a nice course you chose there. Your blah 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 has been sent to your DM. And when you go to your DM, you still see hello, Richard. So me going through the whole chat, me going through the whole DM and seeing my name repeated, it feels like this person actually just cared about just me. To remember, in most of these things, it's all about emotions, not just about the logic. So when I'm getting my name being so, hello, Richard, this is for you, Richard, and this is your how are you? And one thing about ManyChat again, after 24 hours, you can actually program it that to do a follow-up. And it has a whole lot of if-then statements there. So if this person clicked on this, probably the person has commented, there's a word that said to be commented there, that you instructed to be commented rather, and it's been done. There's a task that's actually followed up and it's been done. You can follow a particular route. Now, if that task hasn't been done, you can follow the other route. And that's one very important thing about ManyChat. Those conditional statements and those flows. All right, as you progress, it's almost like making programming super easy. So as you progress, it follows you up 24 hours later. If you hadn't done the task, there's a follow-up message that automatically gets sent to you and tells you, okay, you're missing out on XYZ. This other number of people have done this and they've grown by this number of amounts and stuff. And most times, even during the explanation, it's easier in practice than it is in explanation, because these guys are actually done this. It's very easy that it's just a drag and drop and it's simple English. Right, just if this is this, enter the message you want. And if you're not clear with the messages, thank God for ChatGPT and the rest of them. You can just go there and just type in what you want and they refine it for you. So you just copy and paste. And one other good thing about ManyChat is that they also have most of these AIs built into it. That if you don't know what to write, just write a phrase and just click on it. It rephrases what you already have there to either sound friendly or professional or a funny way or a friendly way or whatever emotion, whatever you want to pass across, whatever feelings you want to pass across, right? So that's the use case number one, whereby the AI follows up on whatever it is that you put out there and tries to make the conversion itself. Now, the use case number two is now the keyword DM automation, which we actually talked about, where a user sends, you make a content and then you send it out and the user sends a price or a detail, a particular keyword. For example, I have this clothing store and then I put up some clothing videos out there and I'll be like, okay, if you want to know the price, just comment price and then I'll get back to you on it. If you want to know the details of this clothing, red, white, the measurement, the sizes, whatever keyword it can be. And this person just commenting just that particular keyword, the system automatically goes through your system. What if you already programmed it? Probably a more like a notepad. You copy the whole thing and you place there, and you already has a way of detecting, mapping the price of a particular item to that item. So you simply just comment, it goes to that particular video, the item that has that particular video gets it and automatically replies the person. Remember in the first one, we talked about delay in reply and late replies. Now, this use case number two really takes care of that. You don't need to really bother about it, in that the person comments and within a few seconds the person is getting the reply to his or her inquiry back within a split second, and it gives you time to just concentrate on the things that matter. When it's now probably time to make payments, you can get a notification and then you can interface and finish up, close the deal. So that is use case number two, where a particular keyword is sent to be able to get more information about what you're selling or what you're putting out. Now, the next one we're talking about here is lead qualification. Now, I talked about many charts having this if-then set up on them, where if this meets this, then you follow up, where if that doesn't meet that, then you follow up. Now, that's the use case number 3, where it separates A from B. Now, here's a practical one where our price is, for example, you're selling a particular course and it's 50,000 naira, and the person is, I feel like I don't have 50,000 naira to get this your course. Now, many charts will have it in a way where I set it up and then it sends you a price where you commented price, just like we did here in the first use case number 2, where you commented price, for example, you sent price, and then it tells you 50,000 naira, and you feel like, no, I don't have 50,000 naira. So you don't interact with the application, the system going forward. You just drop the chart there. It does a follow-up for you. And remember the if then, that's the lead qualification channel, now knows that you didn't buy because it's already been programmed to do that. So it knows who bought and who didn't buy, who was interested in the 50,000 naira and who wasn't. Now it gets to a point where when it wants to do a follow-up, because of the lead qualification, if peradventure tomorrow I have a discount, I have like a promo running, and I know that there are lots of people I have on the channel that couldn't afford 50,000 naira, and probably what they could afford at that time was 30,000. I can get back to them and say, hey, it's Black Friday, for example. This particular cost has been dropped from 50,000 naira to that way. I don't have to lose those leads. I still have them in my system. All right, and that's one thing you can also do with AI. I still have them in my system, so I can still retarget, I can still remarket without spending any more funds on ads, on trying to acquire them anew. I already have them there. All right, so that's the lead qualification, whereby you can separate who from what, such that when you need those people, even those people that weren't interested but just stayed there in your contact, you can still go back to them and sell to them again and market to them again and retarget them again and probably reduce the number of people that you have there that haven't patronized what you're selling, what you're giving away. All right, now the next one, that's use case number 4, is the AI and ManyChat hybrid. Now we talked about this where you connect ManyChat to an AI. For example, like I said, I use Claude a lot. I think it's super good and it's super fast, and it understands logic a lot better for me than probably ChatGPT. So you connect ManyChat, for example, to Claude, where it doesn't just track keywords or simple things like comments, price, and this or comments, where it now goes a step further to detect intent, where it just tries to get the message you're sending. It doesn't give you a list of things to comment. No, you just come up and I feel like I like the blue one and it will look good on me. How much is it? Now, probably how much wasn't even in the keyword list of what I wanted the person to comment or how I want the person to interact or the action I was expecting. But because it's connected to an AI system, it detects what we call the intent of the person. It knows that this person is trying to get the price, and then it will know the right reply to give to the person. Right. So that's connecting, that's the use case number 4, where we have AI interfacing with ManyChat as a hybrid system to be able to close sales. And remember, I said ManyChat, for example, have a free tier where I think for a small business, it's more than enough for you to handle. All right. And you can still connect it to some smart AI systems. They have some AI systems that they recommend that are pretty much affordable, even though there are still some free AI systems that you can still connect it to, like Gemini, Flashlights. There is a QN. There are a couple number of other ones that are actually free that you can integrate into ManyChat without actually spending money, and they still handle this. So when we're talking AI, it's not expensive, because if you hear some of this integration, you look like, okay, you're going to break a bank to set it up. No, like what I actually explained now is typically free, 100% free, zero naira. The only thing is you're just going to sign up, and then when you start scaling, that's when you start paying. All right, so that is use case number 4. And use case number 5 is still the sales DM. Okay, we've talked about the story giveaway, where you auto reply DMs and it does a giveaway for you, and then it follows you up much later. We discussed that in the beginning of the session. Now, permit me to go a little lower, skip some of these use cases because I believe we've covered some of them, and then get to common mistakes to avoid. All right, so that's where many people actually believe, or rather say AI don't work for them because there are little mistakes that you make and then you don't get the results that you expect. Right, so that's why Mr. A will be saying, I set up the system and it worked perfectly for me. And Mr. B is saying, this didn't work. I did everything that was on the books and it didn't work. So these are just some common mistakes, right, to avoid while setting up some of these automations using AI to leverage on our business to scale our business. Now, number one is no follow-up sequence. Now, there are cases whereby you set up a system, for example, still back to the clothing thing, or rather to the books thing, where I've written a book and then I get somebody that sends a DM or that declared intent that came into my contact. And 24 hours later, there was no action that the person took. And I didn't set up any system. I didn't set up anything. I didn't follow up on that. I just had to let it look like it's a human thing where it's a cold call that just dropped and you don't want to follow, you can't follow up the person, whereas the person is still there in your contact. All right, so number one mistake is the no follow-up sequence where there is no setup of after 24 hours, check if this user performed this action. If this user did this action, then do this. If he didn't, or if she didn't, then do the other one. So there's no follow-up sequence on this. Now, number two is when you set up too many questions. Now, I've seen a lot of systems where I try to use, and they just keep asking you questions like you're enrolling for the university, right? It's going to be one question after the other, and you're still looking to get what we were promised, and it's a lot of questions. Okay, so you also try to avoid the highest, like 2-3 questions. You can continue to put other questions when you've gotten the person comfortable in your contact list. But for a start, just enroll the person. The question 2 is okay, and then just the basics, the name, the phone number, I feel is okay. Now, number 3 is not tagging the users. Now, there are systems whereby, for example, I talked about where you can set up make.com, right, to make some publications for you on social media. And you're just posting like that, and there are no system tags. You can't even like pick up your contact of users, you can't tag them into, you can't inform them into what make is currently posting. So whereby you're just relying on new users, whereas the current users are not aware of what you're currently posting. Right, so it just keeps doing the same thing, and then it keeps gathering new users, and then the old users are left off your loop, and then the next thing they've even lost that they subscribed into anything that you're offering. Right, so Make especially has this system where you can store your systems that are interested in what you're currently doing, such that your next post have to like tag them into what you're doing, such that they have to come back and be aware of what you're doing and interact and probably share, because it gets easier when your customers become your marketers. And that's what you want to do. You want your users to start being your evangelists. So when your users start sharing, start commenting, it gets easier for you. So you want to continue tagging the systems, and it's pretty much very easy to be able to use automation systems like, for example, Make, or for example, Zapier, to integrate into this. Now, the next thing is no clear offer, where the message is not clear enough for the user, where it's like, okay, comment something and I'll send you something. Something is not the name of anything. So you have to be crystal clear on what you're doing or what you're giving out or what has to be done. So if there is a deadline, you have to include it also on the post. So if it's going to be 5 random people are going to be picked, let it be 5 random people. All right. If it's going to be the first 5 people, let it be the first 5 people, so that people will know the metrics at which this thing was carried out. And so that the whole thing will be crystal clear. And that's when they're going to trust your brand going forward. All right. So the offer has to be clear. Everything about what you're posting out has to be clear. All right. Then another thing is treating DMs like emails. Now that can be very frustrating. I've actually seen a whole lot of them where you're getting, okay, comments free, and I'll send you a DM on how to get it. Now the person comments free, and you're sending the user a full textbook on how to get the deal that you're promising. Now it's discouraging. Someone like me, I'll just look at it and I'll just move on to the next thing. Right? So we need to keep the message as simple and as straightforward as possible, not sending DMs like email messages. So moving on to the next one, a simple blueprint. By the way, this material I'm going to be sending to the organizer. So if you need it, you can still contact them for it, and they can send it to you. Now, you create triggers, you create a flow, add a question, add a tag. I believe we've talked on this a whole lot, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. It's still the same how to set up the flow, the ManyChat flow, where you set a trigger, build a flow, what happens, if this happens, what happens, and then the next thing that happens, and you follow up, add tags of your follow-ups, and then you follow up. Now the takeaway from this session, what we have to, in summary, automation works, AI works. All right, it's just for you to know how to use it right. It's like ChatGPT, you can use a particular prompt to get a result, and refining that prompt gives you another result, right? So it's just all in the knowing. It's all in the knowing. It's understanding how it works and using it right. So you can scale your business from 0 to a whole large number. We have achieved it here at StarNet, and I'm telling you, it works. You can actually run a one-man business where AI is doing a whole lot of things for you. Now, you can start up with these very easy ones, and then you scale up to the much expensive ones, all right, the professional ones that there are ones that are higher than these ones, of course. There are ones that are agentic. When we get into the agentic AI is where you set up agents, AIs that act as agents, AI that acts like employees, right? But for a start, these things work, and they work very good. And then, so automation, scale your lead generation without scaling your team. All right. So you actually achieve a whole lot more with less. And that's what AI can help you achieve in your business. And number 2 is speed, where the first to respond wins. And that's automation. Automation is equal to response. Where I'm waking up 12 midnight. I don't care if your company is asleep or not. I just want to just like send a message. I just found you guys. I couldn't sleep. I was browsing. I found this contact on the internet, and I want to just confirm some things. Now, it doesn't matter if you should be sleeping. You're a business, you should be awake. I think that's how like half of the people think. So you have to set up some things that at least, even if it's not professional enough, some systems that will be able to like do a follow-up. And these things, like I said earlier, they are very easy to set up, right? Where they can reply to some basic information until you wake up to now see the message and then continue from wherever the AI stops. If you feel like the AI is not, you don't trust the AI to do a very good job, but there are some systems that actually train their AI to do a whole lot of both the marketing, the reach, the follow-up until it gets to closing the sales, right? So speed, first to respond wins the competition. Now, the DMs are gold mine. DMs are, if you do it right, DMs, the conversion rate for DMs are high, and they are very easy. You can just do, if you probably have like a fresh new account on Facebook and you want to run an ad on something that you're doing, probably a course you're training on or a book that you just wrote you want to sell, you can just do a small, a very basic make.com or ManyChat setup, right? Where you give out the book and it's as simple as, okay, comment free and I'll send it to your email. And you do a little boost, like a 4-day boost of $1. Now we're talking about small and medium scale. So we're assuming that we don't have that much money. So you just scale like a week advert, $7, $1 a day, or $2 a day, $14 in a week. And focusing on DMs, whereby there are comments to DM. The user makes a comment, you send a DM, you capture the user's information and the rest of it. It works like magic, and I've seen it grow businesses like mad very fast. So DMs are gold mines, and they are one of the highest converting automation systems that I've seen. Now on the flows, when you get the flow, right? When you set up a working system, when you set up the conversion, when you set up the follow-up, when you set up the DMs right, where you set up everything right. All right, the flows are like the sales engine for you. All right, so that is it for this session. I'm sorry I didn't have much time to take questions. But that is it on this session. Hopefully, if we're having another session, we'll try to make it a little bit more practical. And if we're focusing on just one, we'll do some practical examples such that you'll be able to understand what's in practice this looks like and what it does. But this is mostly theoretical, and it's been fun having you around. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time. Thank you for your audience, and do have a great day.
Thank you so much, Engineer Lucky. We really appreciate the slides. They are really rich and full. In fact, I'm thinking about if you can, maybe we can talk about this offline, but if we can actually have you next month, because Coach Ndali had been regular every month, and she has to move out. She has to focus on other projects. So I was wondering if we can have you next month to come show us maybe a practical session that will work for our audience. Just maybe one particular thing, and then you can do that for in practical. So you don't need to do slides, you just go straight into practical demo.
All right, no problems. That won't be an issue.
So,
When we talk, then I'll know how it goes.
Okay,
Definitely.
sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you
thank
so
you,
much.
Engineer Lucky.
Thank you very much, Coach Ndali.
I
Does
think this
anybody-
lesson was for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of useful things that we could definitely implement on this end.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
All right.
So any questions? Any questions? Any questions?
So
Okay.
anyway, we will talk offline.
It's all right. It's okay. Thank you very much for
Thank
having me.
you, sir.
All right. Thanks so much. Really appreciate this.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.